Good morning.
What?
Good morning. Dropping my car off to get my new front bumper. You guys have seen all the videos. I did some damage underneath, ran up on a snow pile, but check this out. I know these cars have fender gap, but that's ripping the metal. Side marker's gone. And lots of stuff gone under there. So car will be here for about a week. Going to put the 5-axis kit back on the new bumper, color match, and do all that fun stuff. What'd you say? Kate said bye. There she goes. We'll see you in a week, hero. Now check this out. This is my loaner rental for the week. 2020 330i X-Drive. And I've driven some BMWs, but this will be my first long experience. So how about a 330i X-Drive review? Don't let this get out on my work channel. I'm going to the dark side. BMW 330i. Sorry, Mercedes. So first of all, huge thank you to Enterprise. We had a reservation with our friends at Discount from Country Hills and no one showed up for work today. So the Enterprise guys just rushed this car over with no reservation. Thank you very much. Well done. Unfortunately, it was literally just dropped off by another client. So it's actually really dirty and I'm super fussy and anal about having my car clean. So to say thank you to Enterprise, I'm actually gonna clean this car before I make any more video. Let's go for a drive.
Look how short I am.
What are you doing?
I'm being a kid.
The FRS definitely does not have 16 direction adjustable seats.
Also seat warmers.
And seat warmers. I seriously need seat warmers and a car starter for Calgary.
Started facing at a photo they've taken. Space tree flying through the skies and battles happen everywhere. I don't need any hero to save me. I don't know why the kids always crying. I've been thinking about all the captains, but we left in a wasted planet. I thought I had it all together, but I'm waking up sad. You don't need to show your father love anymore to them. Feel the spark and city light when you stay tonight. That's the sparkles from my breaking heart. And it breaks so hard. Break it so hard.
All right, so quick disclaimer before I get into this car. Obviously I'm changing hats. I am a Mercedes guy. I am die-hard Mercedes racing fan. I've worked with Mercedes for years and I know Mercedes inside out. And so forewarning, I will talk a lot about how does the 330i compare to a C300 because the C300 4MATIC is obviously the natural choice to compare to this car. So before I begin actually talking about the specs, the engine, all the features in this car, one thing I will mention is first thing I got in the car, tire sensor warning was on, and here's what I saw. So first little glitch, I got a tire pressure warning on the BMW, and on the sensor, the tire pressure monitor built into the car, it has TPS, so it has individual tire sensors. It says front recommended pressure 37, But the manufacturer's recommendation, whoops, you guys probably can't see that, recommendation from the tire spec is 32. So it was at 32, so we're just gonna leave it alone. Second thing, before we even started driving, you guys been watching the channel. I run the Escort Passport Max. It's fantastic, has all kinds of settings and memories. When I plug in the Escort power that comes with, some reason it works in every other car, will not work in this BMW. So I had to switch to my camera charger. Luckily, Passport has a couple of different options for charging. I can get the power. Seems like it's working. And then I get this low voltage, so I'm not sure what the power is in that outlet, but it's not enough for this baby. So that's kind of a weird one. BMW, I don't know. If you're getting emails from Passport owners, you should check that out. Number 3. USB power? Still no. BMW, you do not have enough power in here to run my Escort. So under the hood of the BMW, very similar setup to the C300, 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo, both at 255 horsepower, but the Mercedes at 272 torque, and the BMW at just over 290 torque. So definitely acceleration advantage from the additional torque. Also in the fact that this is an 8-speed, you just seem to get off the line faster. And you'll also find the same as you go up to the M340 versus the C43. The C43 from Mercedes actually has more horsepower, but more torque still on the M340, gets off the line faster. But the 330i seat of the pants just feels faster. And I'm not going to go into a bunch of stats for you guys, but if you check it out, the 330i is actually 0.4 seconds, 5.2 to 100 versus 5.6. As far as the appearance goes, Mercedes versus BMW is an endless saga. Nice wheels on the 330. You get a lot of choices of wheels with a sport package on a Mercedes. But that's all just personal preference. Now, one thing to know before I talk about the inside of the car, all-wheel drive. X-Drive, of course, is all-wheel drive. All of the C300s in Canada, there will only be 4MATIC, and so they're all-wheel drive either case. The other difference between these two is 8-speed transmission in the BMW versus the new 9-speed transmission in the Mercedes. 9-speed transmission is very smooth. You'll see that more. We'll talk about it when we're driving this car. 8-speed, more sporty as you would expect, but you don't have the comfort and luxury you have in the Mercedes. So like I said, styling aside, BMW people love BMWs, Mercedes love Mercedes. These cars are just made in different ways. One thing interesting though about the 3 Series is this is actually the 19 and 20 3 Series is the biggest 3 Series ever. And there's been some complaints about how big the car is, but it's very comfortable. And as you can see, you have lots of room for yourself and 4 more passengers. So as far as being a driver, this is going to be the biggest difference between the Mercedes and the BMW. For starters, you get in the BMW and the seat, it's quite a narrow bolster, even though it's adjustable, feels like a sports seat. I would say if I had to compare, this feels like an AMG C-Class, like a 43 seat, more than it does to the 300 series. As a bigger guy, I'm about 200 pounds. I would say this is more sporty. Mercedes, much more comfortable seat. Now, one thing I definitely miss about the Mercedes up here has your seat adjustments, which are way down here on the side of the seat. The BMW actually has more adjustments, which is nice, but I miss that feature. In general, BMW looks like you'd expect, but there are a ton of buttons in here. I've never seen so many buttons. It's like it's a Porsche. In your driving modes, you've got 3 different buttons just for driving modes. That's one button in a Mercedes, just for an example. This old school toggle pad, that's been going away in Mercedes brand just for a touchpad. But your screen is already a touch screen in the BMW, and the C-Class won't have that till next year. In general, cockpit layout, design, they're similar, but the BMW for me looks kind of old school. The black background, with a lot of orange and black and gray. The Mercedes is very full, vivid color. Just a different application. Depends what you like. One other thing my daughter noticed right away, no ambient color here to mess with that we can figure out. Full spectrum colors in the C-Class, just for fun. One other kind of weird note, and I looked this up on the US sites. I've got this shifter, and on the US 330s, they all have paddle shift, but this car doesn't. So in general, if I had to talk about creature comforts, luxury, refinement, you know, the level of materials, and what I really like is the simplicity of the Mercedes. Cannot compare, but that's just a different philosophy. And if you are looking for a luxury fitting, I would go that direction. As far as driving the car, if you're looking for a sports car, let's go for a drive and talk about that. Welcome to GoPro driving school. All right, BMW 330i test drive. It's you can see the sun setting behind us. We're gonna go do some twisties up in the Rockies and tell you what we think. Let's go check this out. So nice leisurely cruise out to the highway in comfort mode. One quick note, in the comfort mode, the auto stop start is automatically on, and I know that's mandated in Germany, so you can't do without it. There is a button just to turn it off, but in noticing and stop and start at lights and at stop signs, it's a very abrupt, kind of jerky stop and start relative to the Mercedes, which is very smooth. I would always turn it off or go into sport mode in this car. The other thing you notice right away, we're going through a bit of a construction zone. The ride smoother than my car, but nowhere near as smooth as the Mercedes. Even little stutter bumps like this, you feel everything in the road. And as a sports car, you're gonna like that. But as a luxury car, maybe not so much. All right, so then when we get to the highway, click it down into sport mode. You can hear it rev up, everything's cycling ready to go. Listen to this. The Mercedes does not sound like that. Windows up.
Oh, that's an Alpha.
Old Alpha Spider just went by. Love those cars. That was my dream car when I was a kid. So, gonna patch in and out some GoPro footage here. Braking fantastic, power is on point. The shifter is weird. I wish this had a paddle shift. But the suspension, when you're driving slow and it feels kind of stiff and lumpy, when you drive fast, it begs for confidence. That's just not there. It feels rolly and soft, like I'm taking this corner, 70 miles an hour, and I can feel a lot of roll in the body back and forth. I was really hoping when I got up to speed, even like 80, 90 miles an hour, that it would hunker down and it would stiffen up, and it doesn't.
Yeah. Like.
I was hoping, oh, beautiful view. I was hoping when we went faster, the suspension would stiffen up, but it's very soft.
Yeah.
Like it's predictable, but it's not as stiff as the performance of this car will allow.
Yeah.
And the shifter makes me nuts. So this hand shifter, down is up is down, down again. Instead of having both hands on the wheel, it's like driving my manual. Right, little section of twisties here. My car is 7,400 with the manual. But one odd thing, the steering wheel, it's really hard to see the tack underneath this steering wheel. I like it low and close. And like I said, the suspension, it's a very rolly sedan feeling suspension compared to what you would get in a sports car. Even though you have tons of power, brakes are fantastic, straight line, very even power. Back on it. How's that driving with the window open, Jack?
Well, I can't feel my hand.
All right, Jack's driving with the GoPro out the window so you guys can get some good road footage. Anyways, super fun car for a sedan. Definitely feels more sporty than the Mercedes, but the adaptability in the Mercedes when you change from a Sport to a Sport Plus mode, man, doesn't have this kind of changing feel where it's solid and it feels almost too bumpy and like stiff suspension when it's slow, to this car feeling a little bit rolly when you're going fast. And I get it, I drive a sports car with custom suspension all day, but I'm not sure where this is at for that, you know, just sub $60,000 for a comparison to a Mercedes-Benz. The one thing I will share though is that this car, my instinct because of the feeling, steering's great, brakes are great, I want to compare it to a C43 AMG, and I know really that should be a comparison for the M340 because that is the direct competitor. So where are we at? Where are we at for this car? All right, so hope you like that drive. That was a lot of fun. Got some cameras out the window, so hopefully that gave you some good footage. So where are we at with the BMW 330i xDrive? It's a tough comparison to the Mercedes-Benz. As you drive this car faster and faster, you convince yourself more you want more of a sports car. It's been highly rated, especially by guys like Road and Track gave this a 10 out of 10. It is not a sports car. It's a very quick sedan. It's a lot of fun. It's got a ton of power. It's got great brakes, but the suspension and the handling are made for saloon. It's a road trip car. It would be great with a family of 4, but not for what we were doing today, not so much. I'd actually rather be in a smaller car, you know, having more fun, shifting gears, maybe not going as fast, but really gripping and handling on the road. So hopefully that helps when you're looking at these cars, and it was a great pleasure. Thank you again to Enterprise and our friends at Toyota for getting me this car, and we look forward to whatever surprises we have to drive next. I don't know if I'm the kind of guy to give this a rating, but I'd give it a thumbs up. I love the car, just not for every day. It is not a sports car. Cheers. So one side note, I guess I forgot to say, so where am I at? I've got the full Team Mercedes kit on. Where am I at? If I had to go drive down that highway, bombing down through some twisties, through the Rockies, and just go have some fun in this bracket of car, this car versus the C300 from Mercedes. On power and delivery, I love this engine. Brakes are fantastic, but the actual drivability of the car, the Mercedes, 100%, the faster you go, the more you push the car, the more the car returns. It gets stiffer as you drive faster. And that's a Mercedes characteristic that a lot of people don't find because they don't get driven that way. So realistically, this battle, I do love this car. It's a great car. You know, full props to BMW for making the 3 Series into more of a saloon car, sporty saloon car. But the battle goes to the Mercedes. See you again. And when I get Hero back, we'll go drive that same road again, and then we'll really have some fun. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Drop a like, subscribe. See you all again soon.